Hello and welcome to Keep Effing Writing. I'm your host, Kris Ripper. Just realized I'm using the phone's microphone for this audio, so hopefully it's not terrible. I also just realized I don't know where the mic pickup is. Whatever, it's fine. I'm in this awkward position because I'm trying to capture the light. It is just before 7 in the morning, and today is the day when I actually plot this book because I haven't been writing it because I don't really know what's going to happen in it, and that is a problem because it's the 9th day of November, and I am like 2,000 words into this book, and they're not good words. 2,000 words that need to be deleted into this book. So I have potentially made negative progress on this book. So today is the day that I actually plotted out. This is exactly what I wanted for this project. I wanted to document a non-smooth novel writing process. That's what I enjoy. This is documenting when things do not go well. We'll get into that later, but first, because it is the nature of projects like this, I'm going to clean my refrigerator and buy a gooseneck freaking phone mount so that next time I do this, I can just mount the damn phone and not be holding it the entire time. So yeah, I'm gonna procrastinate a while longer and probably make some coffee, and then I'll be back to tell you what we're doing. How you doing, Boo? Are you my best dog? Yeah? Yeah, that's who you are. Is this recording on my microphone? Why don't I ever think to check until I'm here? Hello, I return to you having cleaned my refrigerator, which is awesome, and had some breakfast, which is also awesome. Also, putting away groceries in a clean refrigerator, amazing feeling. Love that. I love that for me. That's an old person trying to use a phrase the kids use but not really using it correctly. And even though I know I'm not using it correctly, I'm using it anyway. So yeah, here we are, me and my dog and 2 cats behind the camera. It is 9:58 in the morning, so I haven't started working yet. Here's the situation. I used to feel like not starting a book when I had decided to start a book was a failure, was a waste of time. I was a loser for not adequately knowing when I was going to be ready to do that and doing it on time. And to a certain degree, I don't want to say that it's always great to not start a project on time. Obviously, that is not true. Mostly, I like things to progress on the schedule that I have set for them because I'm relatively thoughtful about my scheduling, and also, I have a job. So when things don't progress on schedule, that means other things cannot progress on schedule. And sometimes the reason that I haven't started a book is because I'm procrastinating. That is 100% true. But sometimes the reason that I haven't started on a book is because I am not ready to start on that book in this weird creator way that's very nebulous, and that I don't have a ton of words to describe. So the best that I can come up with as I was thinking about filming this was, when I am procrastinating about something, I know what I need to be doing for that thing. So I can procrastinate about writing the next chapter. I can procrastinate about writing the ending. I can procrastinate about going to the DMV. I can procrastinate about mailing something. I mean, there are multiple things in my house that should be mailed to people that I have not sent to anyone yet because I fucking hate the post office. So those are things that I procrastinated about for extended periods of time, sometimes years. So the difference with this project is that I have not planned it enough. Every project takes a different amount of planning for me, different kinds of planning. There's all these different, like, weird, nuanced things that have to do with planning books and probably have to do with planning any creative endeavor. And this book requires more than I have given it, which, that's fine. Maybe not super convenient when I have committed to a time frame. On the other hand, I will say the limited time frame is great for me. That's a boon for me. Limits are 100% helpful and effective for me in projects. Because if I have no limits, then things just aren't as fun. And I really want to clarify, this is not waiting for inspiration. I am plenty inspired. I'm actually quite inspired. But if I write from a place of pure inspiration, that's how I get 400 pages of middle. I am very inspired to write certain things. They're not always the things that, like, advance the plot. So I don't believe in waiting for inspiration. If you wait for inspiration, you are at the mercy of forces you cannot control. I am at the mercy of just me planning things. Honestly, excited this project is going on like this. It would be a much less compelling sort of documentary experience if I was like, here's me planning a book. And then I was like, here's me writing the book. And then I just wrote the book and it was done. Like, nobody learns from that. I don't learn from that. You don't learn from that. That's kind of the social media gloss on everybody's wonderful, perfect life. Like, that is not reality. This right now, being 9 days in past the time when I was going to start writing a book, reality. Cheers. Why does my computer keep going to screen share? Going to... What's it called? I have killed books by over-planning them. I have killed books by under-planning them. That's why I tend to be a little conservative, and then if I need to pause and do some serious planning, I do that. Or in this case, I do that over a series of videos and it's still not planned enough. So I'm going to go dead into my thing today, 10:06 now, and I'm going to spend the next half hour, 30 minutes. I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes doing some paper mind mapping and see if that gets me any closer to being able to sit down and write some sort of outline. I don't generally write a chapter by chapter outline, but I do think that I should write maybe a chapter outline for the first 10 or so chapters of this book until I actually know what I'm doing. The first 10 chapters is where, essentially, it's where you're setting up all the things that are going to be important later. So in order to write a solid first 10 chapters, you actually have to know what the book looks like in total. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll take you along for some of it. I probably won't take you along for all of it because A, it's going to be many hours of time-lapse me just staring at screens and papers. And B, I need to focus on this shit and not making video. Though making video, excellent productive procrastination. So yeah, here we go. Wish me luck. I know for you this is going to be a very quick journey and in a couple of minutes you'll know how it worked out, but for me, I'm embarking on a day of I have no idea, so we'll just have to see. Experiments, we love them. begin? So, I'm exhausted. Plotting books, much like revising books, feels exhausting to me in a way that writing generally does not. So, what have I done? So, I have made progress. So let's start with that. I have made progress. I've got 6 chapters mapped out. I am using the Lisa Cron Story Genius sort of method for that. I think she calls them scene cards. Maybe I get a little confused. There are 2 writing books I really particularly like. One is that one, Lisa Cron, Story Genius, and the other one is Deborah Chester, Fantasy Fiction Formula. I find Story Genius a little bit better for the beginning of a book because it's all about character and motivation and what elements in this character's past have led them to where they are now. And then Deborah Chester, for me, makes a lot of sense later on when I'm relying on plotting and external factors and moving the action forward in a significant way. So, yeah. So, that's the update so far. I mean, I will say I can start writing. I can start writing right now. I may decide that I want to map out more of the action so I know what I'm doing. And really the difference is in the revising. So the more that I know about the latter half of the book, and when I'm writing the first half of the book, the more I can layer things in and set things up, and the less I have to do when I'm revising it later. How much does that matter? Not a ton. Stuff like that is pretty easy to layer in, but it's nice to have it already there. So yeah, we will see what happens. I'm going to try to get to chapter 10. I would like to have 10 chapters laid out with the emotions at the forefront, and then ideally I will be able to pick up and just do some kind of quick sketches for the next, I don't know, say 15 chapters. Say it's a 25 chapter book. That's arbitrary. I don't know if that's true, but that is how I kind of want to play with it. And then once I have the first 10, I can plug it all in to Save the Cat, and then I'll have a better idea of where my beats are supposed to be falling, assuming I'm getting the chapter number relatively correct. So yeah, that is the current plan. You may see me later, or I may give up on the lighting, and you may not see me later. So, yeah. Okay. Go team. Okay. It has been 4 or 5 days since I last made a clip for this video. In that time, I have done stuff, and also I have come to the conclusion that I took on too much stuff. So I'm going to not worry about the artificial deadline that is the end of November for this book, because that is an artificial deadline that I can choose not to worry about. And I was getting a little intense. So I've decided I'm not going to worry about that. I have developmental edits that have a real deadline of the last day of November. And also, I have like a human child who's like at the end of the trimester in school. And like, then there's going to be fucking Thanksgiving break. And then there's going to be fucking Thanksgiving. And there's a lot of other stuff going on. And I can just choose not to freak out about this deadline. It's completely imaginary. So I'm going to do that. But I'm also going to keep working on this book. The other consideration there is that I have, as I've said many times, basically hate written books that I wasn't interested in as I was writing them, that I had lots of emotional baggage around, and that I had to get done and just wrote mechanically without feeling. You cannot tell which books these are. Like, I know people really think that if an author loves a book, it comes through, or if an author hates a book, it comes through. And in my experience, that is 100% inaccurate, because some of those books are really good books, which is kind of a disincentive because I guess I could just hate write every book and nobody could tell. But the point is, that fucks up my experience writing a book. So I'm just not going to do that. I'm really excited about this book. I'm super excited to write it, and I'm just going to write it in a way that means I will enjoy writing it. And if it takes another month, I kind of don't care. I just have to not care. And I'll keep documenting it, because sometimes the thing that you think is going to take a month takes 2 months, and that's okay. And that's still a win if you have a book at the end of it. Sometimes it takes 6 months. Sometimes it takes 5 years. Sometimes I still haven't finished that fucking fantasy book. You know what I'm saying? And I started working on those characters I believe in the 20th century. We're almost a quarter of a century into my relationship with those characters, and I'm just not done with that book yet. So sometimes that's just how it rolls, and you gotta go with it. So having decided I'm not going to beat myself up for failing to meet this artificial deadline, I feel much better about the book. Probably I can write it now. But first I gotta work on these devs, because they're actually due, and they're actually due in 2 weeks. So yeah, that's how we're gonna end this video. It is not the ending I was hoping for, which was, it's 4 days later and I've written half the book. That would have been cool though, right? Less instructive, but really cool. It's 4 days later. I've written the same 2 chapters that I wrote in the first couple of days that I was shooting this video, and I have only stressed out about it since. So I'm just not gonna choose to stress about other things. This is an easier decision because this book will make me no money. Like, me publishing a random paranormal book does not make money. Ask me how I know. Have done. Will do again. It's not going to make me any money. But it definitely makes it easier for me to think, all right, I'm not gonna stress about this one. So yeah, that is the end of this video. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. And hopefully the next video I make, I will have more exciting news, more exciting topics to discuss. All right, as usual, you can find me at krisripper.com. You can find me at patreon.com/krisripper, and you can find me on Facebook at The Irregulars, which is krisripper.com/irregulars. Though really, come hang out on Patreon. It's free to do now. You can just come hang out, comment, vote in things, talk to people. It's a lot of fun, and you can do it for freezies. So yeah, do that. All right, thanks for watching. Bye. Oh my gosh. We've gone from having videos and videos where there's no cameos from the animals to having so many animals in this video. Well, 2, but that's half of my animals. What's she gonna do? She gonna jump over her sister? She gonna bother her sister? Oi, you! Leave her alone. I actually put a blanket down there, hoping that they would stay on their separate areas. So we'll see how that works. Welcome to Nature Videos with Ripper. Ziggy, hey. You're okay. She's my bully cat. Like, she's the oldest. She is the most mercurial. She just doesn't give a fuck. And she just wants to be an only cat. She doesn't want to have dog sisters. She doesn't want to have cat sisters. She just wants to be the only person here. Which I understand. I feel that. Okay. Hi, honey. Don't hit your sister in the face.